Welcome to INS, the International News Service, your source for the most important weird news from across the globe. With news analyst Kevin Harrison, actor, comedian, and musician Mike Wiebe, and professional commentator Brian Camp. INS, the news you need.
You're in a haunted house.
I don't think it's haunted yet. I mean, by the time I'm through with this room, it will be.
Haunted with all those unconsummated babies. I don't know.
Let's just say I'm going to be working on some jewelry in here.
So this is the room that the kidnappers from last week have locked you in.
Well, no, I broke free.
Because they gave you lots of nice reading material, it looks like.
Couple Irma Bombecs, I think.
Ooh.
Oh, she drove across the United States.
I will say, I'm going to grab this. There's this book here, The Surnames of Scotland. Describe that book. It has got a bunch of people. What do you call those things that people in the oldie days used to have around their necks that looks like a doily, sort of?
Those are
like a big fluffy collar.
Bite guards.
Yeah.
So they couldn't gnaw at their necks.
Ooh, did you know that the last name Creech is a surname of Scotland? It's from the parish of Creech in the northern part of the Fifeshire. Contains the remains of an ancient castle, but there's no trace of any family bearing the name occupying the lands. A cleric was once the witness. Okay, somebody tell me stop, and I'm going to just start thumbing through the book. Kevin, you say stop, and after I say start, you say stop, and I'll tell you what your Scottish surname is. Okay?
Quickly, for the listener, how many pages is this book?
Yeah, that's
800. I'm not joking.
Wow.
It's 800, over 800.
And it is a reference book of Scottish surnames.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And have we established that we hate or love Scots?
I think we love Scotland.
We love them.
Yeah.
Okay, we're pro
So
Scotland.
I'm giving you guys your official, unofficial Scottish surnames. Kevin, say stop when you're ready.
Okay.
No,
I wasn't ready yet. No, I wasn't. That was just me agreeing.
Too bad you messed it up.
God damn it.
That's how it happens.
All right, I'll do this one more time.
Okay.
Okay, and we're going.
Stop.
Should have gone with the first one.
Wait, what was the first one? Just out of curiosity.
Too late. You don't get it.
No, I just want to know what I missed out on that I will never get again.
Well, now your name's Duchart. I hope you're happy.
Oh, I am.
Deuchart. Duchart. Have fun in junior high.
Oh, man. There's nothing good about that in junior high.
All right, Brian, this is your turn. I'm going. You say when.
When.
Ooh, this is an interesting one. Mm-hmm. It's Macharmaig.
Just throw out the pronunciation.
Because they have another thing next to it.
Macarmig?
Macarmig. Of the Clan Macarmig of the Argyllshire Shaws. That's pretty cool.
That's super cool. Macarmig of the Shaws.
Macarmig of the Shaws.
Macarmig.
That sounds pretty cool as shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel like you can get punched in the face and still say your name.
True.
Macarmig.
Yeah.
Maybe while you I can see you getting punched in the throat, and the sound you make when the fist hits your throat is just McCormick.
Yeah. All right. No, I claim it.
Ooh. Well, this isn't very exciting. It's Kinnison, but it's Kinnison. 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 Sept of McFarlane, a form of Kinnison.
Wow.
Well, that's
Kinnison.
nice. There's a little bit of a comedy reference, I guess, in there, although I never really cared for that guy too much.
He had his thing at a time when it was a good thing to do.
I mean, I get it. I sort of get it at the time. It was a thing to do, but sometimes they'd be like, he was so mind-blowing. I'm like, I think he was just screaming.
Yeah.
I can listen to, I don't know, you guys might disagree with this entirely, I don't know, but I think Rodney Dangerfield's always funny.
Yeah,
he's a super old guy.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I listened to one of his albums and I just got curious. There's a joke every 6 to 12 seconds.
Yeah, totally.
Like there's never a time when more than 12 seconds goes by. That is it. Oh,
Yeah, no, it's okay. But
Mike's talking to his kidnapper.
Oh.
okay.
Are they gonna feed you today, or
Okay.
wait.
He probably just got in big trouble for taking a book down.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
You should have taken that book down.
Well, apparently it opened up a secret passageway in another area. So
That's right. Well, let me reach out to my McCormick ancestors and see if they can give some clues. So, is everything okay? Were you being too loud as you wake up the baby?
No, not at all. Band related, not drama, just information.
Mm-hmm.
It'll lead to drama.
Yeah.
You told just to respect the house, please.
I was told to save the drama for my mama.
Go back to Clan Kinneason and
Kinneason.
Hey.
Yeah, but I never really got really into that Sam Kinison too much. I never could really. I think it's like you had to be there, and like I think you had to be in comedy and be really into it and getting kind of bored with a lot of stuff, and then that came out, and you're like, holy shit! And then people figured out a way to make it. I don't know, some way that makes sense to me, because to me it's just like he's just like, I hate my wife. I hate my wife.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but I was also in 9th grade, and it was just a man screaming and swearing in ways that my parents would not like.
Yeah, but up till then, like you'd never seen that before.
Right.
And he was like, I don't know. I would try watching one of his specials, and like he took like so long, just like it was like a rock show, There's like guitars playing. He drives up on a motorcycle and gets off on stage, and there's these two like hot bikini girls with those 80s flat asses like they had back then, and he walks around with them, and it goes on and on forever of just like of nothing happening. Him just he's wearing like a leather duster. People are going ape shit. They love it. They're going ape shit.
Right.
I think it's just that thing of like nobody had ever seen anything like that ever.
Right.
So is there a special list of like, because you say that of people that at the time, like, so no one had done it before. It was kind of new. It hit probably at the perfect time for something like that to be successful. I think Carrot Top probably the same way, right?
Yeah.
Because he got super famous in a way that I can't imagine somebody getting famous now.
Right.
Yeah. And then his Vegas thing is like huge. Like he's a multi-millionaire from that Vegas thing. I don't know. I always think of like,
is he still?
Oh yeah. He's never slowed down.
Tens and tens, maybe $100 million.
I mean, especially he's got like an act that is very universal, that's super like open to people. But I think I would say Pauly Shore is kind of that guy too, where like, he was just doing this thing at that time that like made, I don't know, there weren't like really other comedians that were so like, I'm a grunge stoner ding dong, he was, because you think like most stand-ups, I think that in the early 90s, Sam Kinison aside, was like, well, it's a guy that wears a suit that goes up on stage and talks. And then, Pauly Shore was kind of like, oh, here's like this, he looks like a guy in a grunge band kind of, and he talks like a crazy stoner, and he's, and I'm just saying that to like explain his success in that moment was like, because he was huge for a while.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so what do you think, according to the internet, what do you think Carrot Top is worth?
I'm going to say $120 million.
Hey, Brian?
I'm going to say 65 million.
Damn, Brian is almost right on. 70 million.
He had to spend some of that money on dumb stuff, right? That surgery couldn't have been cheap. Doesn't he look like a crazy person now?
Yeah, he looks insane.
The weird thing, though, to me, is that Carrot Top's real name is Scott Thompson, yet Scott Thompson is one of the kids in the hall.
Well, Scott Thompson's real name is Carrot Top.
Did you guys know?
Scott Thompson had a secretary named Carrot Top, and Carrot Top had a secretary named Scott Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
You know what really launched Scott Thompson, aka Carrot Top's career?
What's that?
It was like a big comedy contest. It was like a really big one, and he beat Bill Hicks.
Oh wow!
Is that a true story?
Yeah, it's a true story. And apparently, like right when he like won, he was like immediately like, oh no, people are gonna hate me.
Oh wow!
For doing this. He like kind of realized like I got on a thing with people who are like, I don't know, like he's like a guy like, yeah, no, I think it's super corny and stuff, but it's also like, I don't know, he figured out a thing and he did it. And
oh yeah, I don't feel like I'm making fun of it.
But also like it is weird. Like, you are a bodybuilder with the weirdest looking plastic surgery face of all time, and you continue to wear Zubas every day, like weightlifter pants from the 90s, and so I don't know, it is weird. But I think, like, I've heard of interviews with him now, and he now-ish, it was probably like 5-6 years ago, and it's like the weird level of him feeling a little sad. Like, I lives in this giant mansion in Las Vegas, but it's like
there's probably no shortage of people who are willing to hang on with him for money and
probably
reflected kind of wealth and prestige.
I would say that too, that like probably even different than like being a movie star or a musician, like part of comedy, like being good, there's like a comedy community of even like really famous people and stuff like that, where it's like, it's real, like comedians want other comedians respect really, really, really bad. Like it's very important that like even guys that have like $1 million, like I'm sure Joe Rogan really wants Dave Chappelle to go like, hey, that was a good joke, and to kind of like see them as equals, or so the idea that it's got to be weird where Carrot Top is, has more money than 99% of even the most successful comedians, and nobody will like, no, I'm sure people would talk to him if they're in a room, but he knows that they'd probably go away and like tell jokes about meeting Carrot Top and stuff like that. And I'm sure that's gotta hurt really bad, where he's just like, I just write jokes like you guys, only I have a couple props, and it's just the most not cool thing to do. And it's a weird thing where part of me is like, it is goofy, but like, I don't know, is it any less cool than getting up there and telling the truth about cancel culture or whatever? Or even just like getting up there and like talking about, and being just really funny. I mean, is it, yes, it is less cool than some of that stuff. But if you take a step back and look at it as a whole, if you're like a foreign person, or if you're explaining comedy and telling jokes on stage to someone who'd never heard of any of it, they would be very confused. They would be like, why wouldn't they all get along? Why would they not like him? Right. He's doing very really well. Good. Everyone likes him. And it's just like a weird, like, I don't know.
Yeah, that is weird that he could, if he's that successful in Vegas, it means different people see him. And I'm sure there's people that are just super fans, but overall it's going to be a different group every night. They must always laugh. I think if I went, I would probably laugh. It's like it's not like I'm going to think like I'm too cool to laugh at this. It's probably genuinely funny, right?
Yeah.
It may not be as funny as other stuff, and now I feel like a jerk, Mike.
People make fun of. Well, I'm not, and whatever. Like you should, but
dick.
But magic too. Magic's thing. Like a lot of people make fun of magicians, and
magic's super cool.
They are super. Like, it is weird though. Magic, I think, is so fucking cool, and I love it. I really do. I'm not going to try and get into it, but like, and it's because like it is weird. Like every magician I've met is, what's the word?
They don't quite relate to other people the same way.
Yeah, it's not. There's a certain
other
thing.
People relate to people,
but nonetheless, like I love seeing a cool magic trick. I love it.
Right.
I love sleight of hand, close up magic. But it's got to be like, I guess they accept it, but there's got to be some magicians that are like, what the fuck, man? Like all comedians always make jokes about how it's the lowest form of this and that. And it's, it's always like the kind of butt of the joke. And you just like consider not as cool as like Mr. Edgy that gets up there and says, women be shopping or whatever, and like,
slow down, Mike. There might be kids
is that original?
And like, and I mean, I granted comedians, I guess, are not considered mostly like cool or whatever. Most of them. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. The pecking order is odd to me.
So as I understand it, the pecking order is stand-up comedians, improv comedians, magicians, clowns, and then mimes. Is that right?
Well, I don't know where ventriloquists or and then comedians breaks down to like there's prop comics and guitar comics are always considered real lame and hacky, which There's one guy that actually everybody likes though that does guitar. This guy Henry Phillips, but like
It seems really hard because when I've seen guitar comics, either they have to make you laugh in the first like 5 seconds,
yeah,
or else they lose the audience for the whole
I
day.
don't know why it's so like. I mean, maybe some really bad people. There's this guy Nick Thune who's really funny, that was doing stuff. I didn't see his set, but I know he was doing stuff at the festival, and everybody likes him. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's probably just a handful of people that ruin some of those things.
Oh, I'm sure.
Edgar Bergen was a great ventriloquist. He's funny.
Candace Bergen's father.
Yeah. Like the Charlie McCarthy show.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a ventriloquist on the radio, and it's
That's
good.
the dumbest thing. He did ventriloquism over the radio and had an incredibly popular
For
show.
years. But
Wow.
it's on a lot, and so I hear it a lot. And
How is it on a lot?
It's because it's on. I listen to radio classics all the time.
Oh, okay.
I don't listen to podcasts.
I forgot you lived in that cabin out in the woods. I'm sorry.
Some kind of goof. No, but it's you can hear the ventriloquist. The thing is, it's easy to suspend the fact that you can't see him and know, because it's him interacting himself with Charlie and then guests. You can tell it's kind of the what's the word? Progeny? Now the
Protogenesis.
Whatever. The start of of so many. Now it's not. I'm not. The thing after him would be the project. It's whatever.
Right. I think it's Protogenesis.
You guys are fucking pissing me off right now.
No, you know that band?
It could be the Genesis.
Progenesis?
Yeah.
But it's the Phil
Progenitor.
Collins.
Whatever.
It is the Phil Collins.
Progenitor.
Phil Collins
of so much
whatever.
comedy.
Okay, yes, yeah.
All right.
It's the birth of almost every other ventriloquist act you'll ever hear. Like all of it is contained in what he does.
And it's just like an hour of, you're the dummy. No, you're the dummy. No, you're the dummy. No, you're the dummy. No, you're the dummy.
Right.
No, you're the dummy.
Listen up, blockhead. Why I oughta.
Why I yada.
All right, let's get this started or else we're going to be here all night. And Mike's in a haunted house. If he's up at midnight, we might start seeing things floating around the room.
He's already said Bloody Mary twice.
I keep ordering it and the fucking waitress won't bring it. No, you're the dummy.
So this week, we've got 3 news stories, and then Mike is on the road with the Draculas, so he's going to share another road story with us. I didn't introduce us, though. Welcome to the International News Service. We're your hosts. I'm Kevin Harrison, along with...
I'm Brian Camp.
I'm embedded in a haunted house investigative reporter Mike Wiebe, and with us is not Mark Ryan. He's editing an episode.
I have a question, Mike.
Yes.
Behind you, what is probably, don't look yet, it's probably over your left shoulder, and it's at the top of the shelves.
There's bookshelves behind Mike.
Yes, bookshelves loaded with books, probably about Scottish surnames, if you've already heard, because I'm sure Mark left all that in. Over your shoulder on the top
that was
of the
a good
bookshelf.
bit. That was a good bit.
It was
good.
bit we did 45 minutes ago.
Well, we were so short last time, we have to make up for it.
No, you're the dummy.
You're the dummy. If you look over your left shoulder, there's what is it on the top of the bookshelf?
It's a doll. That's a creepy doll.
It is
Its head keeps moving.
Creepy doll.
A creepy
keeps
doll.
Looking down at you and frowning.
And there might be a photograph of a now dead man, which is kind of sad. I hope it.
You know, if you took all the photographs that have ever been taken, probably most of the people in those photographs are dead now.
No, I don't believe that at all. People have taken more photographs in 1 year than they've taken in like the first 70 years of photography.
Yeah, I would agree. A lot of selfies.
I think that will be true, Kevin, in about 50 years.
Okay.
But I see what you're saying. I take your point, but I just
I'll
think
be there. I'll find you and I'll be like, your face,
That's right.
Brian.
And I'll say, progenitor, you prick. I think it is progenitor. Damn it.
Okay.
No, you guys talk. I got to look this up. This is driving me crazy.
Okay. So our first story that Brian's not listening to comes to us from WFMZ
like every week.
News,
Nice.
Channel 69 in Allentown, Pennsylvania. So I think that we've all had shitty jobs where we would have
Progenitor.
done anything.
God damn it.
Progenitor. That's a word.
Oh, don't.
Yeah, that was jumping.
I don't need you to confirm it's a fucking word.
That was
Come
jumping
on.
in a little late. Yeah.
Yeah. I gave you numerous chances to help me out.
I've been on the record as saying that I'm progenital, though.
Edgar Bergen was the progenital of all ventriloquists.
Mike's inspecting us with a magnifying glass like he's some kind of Sherlock Holmes.
Well,
Ready
he's
to
looking for
solve a
ghosts, isn't
mystery.
he? He's looking for traces
Clues.
of ghostly apparitions. Progenitor. Man.
So I think that we've all had shitty jobs where we would have done anything to take a day off work. But two employees at a Wendy's in Tilden Township, Pennsylvania, really took this to another level. The employees were driving to work when they agreed that it would be great if their shift was slow. So when they neared a railroad track that crossed the major intersection that led to Wendy's, one of them jumped out and placed a shunt under the track. This disabled the sensor that put down the railroad gate so traffic wouldn't know to stop for an oncoming train. Now, I think from what I could figure out from the article, what they thought this would do is that the railroad computer would notice that there was a sensor down and that they would put down the gate in anticipation that a train might be coming. But unfortunately, the computer systems don't work that way. So instead, the whole thing was caught on camera. And not only did they have to work a regular shift, but they were arrested for risking a catastrophe, criminal mischief, and reckless endangerment. Tilden Township Police, Reading and Northern Railroad Police, and the FBI are all involved in the ongoing investigation. And the Tilden Township Police allege this was linked not to avoiding work, but to terrorism from a Wendy's employee.
The Reading Railroad?
Reading and Northern Railroad.
Monopoly?
Like a monopoly?
Yeah. Why do you think this couldn't be terrorism? They disabled a train gate and gave a really fishy story to explain it. That we're smart enough to disable a train gate, but we just wanted to slow down work.
No, you just put a shunt in there. You literally just, if you shove any, I don't want to tell our listeners how to disable one of these. Never mind.
I'll tell them. I'll tell them. You go fucking kick them.
But
spin kick them.
No terrorist in the world is going to go, hey, I committed my grand act of terror. Now I'm going to go put in 5 or 8 hours working fast food.
Well, they want to get caught.
What about Carlos the Jackal?
He never worked at Wendy's.
He never worked at Wendy's, but he worked at Lottaburger, at Blake's Lottaburger in New Mexico.
I don't think that's right.
I met him. I met him.
What did he tell you about your capitalist imperialist?
He let me borrow a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook.
Wow.
Don't make the nitroglycerin, Mike.
Did you smoke some banana peels from that?
I'm not saying. Let's just say that things are going to start popping off soon in Austin, Texas.
We don't want to know what that means.
Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. There could be some real turbulent times
the show
ahead.
is investigated by the FBI.
That's right. Maybe don't pre-confess to events that may or may not happen.
Well, I think the world will be on my side.
Oh, that's bold. Maybe they will. Are you going to disable a bunch of train gates so people don't buy your delicious chili?
No, because I mean, I believe them pretty much, but I wonder if they were like wearing black T-shirts or something, and they're like, "Oh, these boys are Antifa."
I'm shocked that you guys are going so out of your way to give these people a pass.
I'm not giving them a pass.
No.
That could have killed.
I'm not at all. I just don't think that
innumerable people.
Terrorism should be in there. I think it's more like you're a fucking dum-dum.
Now I do work near railroad tracks, but unfortunately I work from home, so that the plan wouldn't work for me. I'd have to disable the internet.
I think they did something similar to digging a hole in the woods and putting some loose light branches over the hole and walking away.
Yeah.
And thinking maybe somebody will fall in it. Maybe nobody will fall in it.
Oh, so you think they knew? You think they knew?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think they...
Oh, no, okay. See, I thought that they legitimately thought it was going to make the things go down. But I guess why wouldn't they have stuck around and seen that it wasn't making the things go down? Okay, I'm with you. I'm not... you know what? I didn't think it through, Brian. I'm actually on your side now. I think they thought they were going to see some cool shit or something happen. At first, I believed them, but then I really, like, just thinking about if I were there, because I could see myself doing a scam, like, if I knew how to make the crossing guards stay down and not go up, therefore people would not be driving to my side of the street or the town
Tilden
or whatever
Township.
to get Wendy's. I can see myself pulling that scam 100%. A younger me pulling that scam. But no, now that I'm thinking about it, you would have put the shunt in and gone like, well, shit, the fucking things aren't coming down.
The canes aren't coming down.
The canes aren't coming down. Oh, well, fuck. Well, if they're just going to stay up, we don't want that either. Well, let me pull them back out. And I would have pulled them back out. So, yeah, no, I'm with you. Fuck those guys. I didn't even think about that.
No, I do say fuck these guys, but I'm just saying that I don't think that they were doing this for terrorism purposes. I think they were doing this because they were dumbasses and they thought this was going to give them a lighter night at work somehow.
Oh, see, I don't think it was to give them a light night.
Put the gates down. It's like a 5 minute fix.
I'm with Brian. I think they were doing it to see a fucking crash. They wanted to see.
I see what you're saying.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Well, but they didn't stay around. They went back to work.
Who was right there?
Exactly. Because the fucking things didn't go down. If the things would have gone down, then it would have been like, no, that's why they did that. But when the things didn't go down, that's a clear sign to them that it didn't work, and that shit, if they're going to stay up, somebody's going to fucking roll into one. I don't think that they thought it through that much. But, I see what you're saying. I don't know.
The second the gates didn't go down, I think that's.
And the whole thing with the word terrorism and using that stuff, like I don't consider these people quote unquote terrorists, but I don't really care what word you call. They should get the worst punishment you should get for possibly killing people. You get for intention to kill people.
Risking a catastrophe.
Yeah, that's light. But look, Mike's up and down these highways and byways. He's about to be on these roads.
Yeah,
up and
that's
down
the kind of thing
dial. That's the tragic end. We're never meant to be, but baby, think of me once in a while. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati.
What is the wildest or dumbest thing you did to get out of work?
Oh, I know what Brian's is.
No.
I think so. Didn't you fake hurt your leg at Kmart and then like walk around with crutches like to sell the lie for a couple days?
I don't know. That doesn't know. I had legitimate things happen at Kmart. I don't think I feigned. I've had numerous flat tires on the way to work. I was not a good employee for many years of my life, so I don't think I did that though. I don't think I ever faked crutches. I won't claim that. I wish I could, because that's a good story.
To get out of work?
Yeah.
I guess I'd have to say 9/11.
Wow.
For the listener, it is September the 12th.
Show's officially getting investigated by the FBI. Thanks, Mike.
That's why it's on my head. That's why it's on my brain. Mm-hmm. No, I didn't. I'd like to say publicly, I had nothing to do with 9/11. And honestly, I know I made that joke. And I honestly would like to say that I'm sick of having to say that I had nothing to do with 9/11.
How often do you have to say that?
Too much.
Mm-hmm.
Way too much. 9/11, I went to work and I woke up, saw that everything's going down, and went to work, and I was at work for maybe an hour, just like listening to the radio, and then I just finally was like, and there was like a TV in the break room or something, and then I was just like, I was working in this office, and I just kind of looked at everyone. I was like, I'm going to go home. And they're like, what? Why? And I was like, yeah, I don't think I need to be here right now. Like, I think there's bigger things going on that should be kind of thought about. Like, well, they're like, nothing's going to happen here. I was like, no, I know that. I know nothing's going to happen here, but there's no world where I'm not thinking about this and this entirely. So
right.
I'm out.
This is how unimportant this job is to me, is that I would rather just be home thinking about this and watching about this than working this job. And
just realizing that there's one of the most pivotal, I guess I knew it at the time, but I didn't really think, I mean, I guess you didn't know, but you just knew like, this is something that's going to change a whole bunch of shit forever. This is one of the biggest deals that's happened since I've been around on a national scale.
Right.
And just that thing of like, I don't feel like me doing meaningless paperwork for this job is more important than that. I feel like kind of taking in this literally world changing event, which I didn't know was going to be as world changing as it was, but was more important.
Right.
So our next story our next story was submitted to us by Blake. So Blake, thanks again for giving us a great story.
Is this Florida Blake?
Yeah, this is Florida Blake. So this comes to us from the Daily Mail. In England, it's known as the Daily Hail. Nigerian officials recently seized 16 packages headed from their country to Hong Kong because they said the packages emitted a pungent odor. The packages were labeled animal exports, and when authorities opened them, they found 7,000 donkey penises. That's about 438 donkey penises per package.
Yeah, for sure. 16 divided by... No, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's about how big this donkey penis. Yeah. I mean, I guess we're talking about Rhodesian donkey style.
These are metric donkey penises.
I know, but what kind of donkeys? Because there's some donkeys that have different sized genitals.
Male donkeys, but it didn't specify.
Oh, okay. Well, now that clears it up. Like, are we talking like a Palomino?
No, that's not a donkey. That's a horse.
I have a donkey named Palomino, and I can tell you how big his penis is.
They weren't packed in ice. They were being shipped.
They were being shipped. I don't know if there was ice or not, but probably not if they were emitting a pungent smell.
You know what? I bet they're shipping him to Tom Green, and he was going to go make some pranks with him.
That's the first time somebody said Tom Green this year, I bet. It's pretty good.
In any media now known.
He does fine. He does just fine.
So apparently there is a huge illicit trade of donkey parts, including their penises and skin, from Nigeria to China.
Oh, yeah.
These are used in traditional Chinese medicine and maybe Tom Green bits. It is illegal in Nigeria to kill donkeys for body parts, and it's also illegal to export donkey parts to other countries. But Nigeria estimates that it has lost over $7 billion to illegal donkey smuggling between 2012 and 2018. Now, if it's illegal to make them and to transport them, I don't understand how they lost money. I understand why it's illegal, but I don't understand. There must be some basis for that math.
Somebody killing people's donkeys?
Maybe.
You don't have to kill the donkey to remove the dick, right?
My donkeys, you do.
Yeah.
Well,
they are masculine donkeys who would rather die than live without their big floppy dicks.
So they also send their skin. So, you definitely probably.
We can wrap them in saran wrap. Just some skinless saran wrap donkey.
So this was at least the third large shipment of donkey penises seized just this year, with this shipment worth around $500,000.
Damn.
Nigerian police say they had a suspect, but he got away.
Was it Tom Green?
It could have been.
Did he make a bunch of crazy faces? Does it say if he made crazy faces and repeated like a random word a whole bunch?
It didn't just say whether this was Tom Green or not.
Did he have a beard?
His parents would have probably been involved if it was, so probably not.
Did he have a beard?
Yeah, well, he did have the beard.
Did he look like the guy from Freddy Got Fingered?
What is Tom Green's net worth?
I'm going to say $4 million.
I'm going to say 8. He had a movie, then he was in that Charlie's Angels movie.
He's kind of like a
Canadian?
Yeah. He's kind of like an originator of like being a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Talk show on YouTube and so, which I don't know if he made money a lot for that.
I think he's a podcaster now, actually. Doesn't have as many listeners as
Did we find out his net worth?
Mike is the closest at $5 million.
Good for him.
Good for him. Well, so wait, what do they use these donkey dongs on?
I think they like a lot of Chinese medicine is like grinding things up into powder or like having things on display.
Why are Chinese into dicks so much? There's foreskins, and the Chinese medicine is so wang related. I wasn't trying to go for that. I was just trying to use a different, I don't know either. But listen, truthfully, I was just trying to use a different word for dick because we've said
dick, penis. Let us know if that's okay.
Big dick, penis, dong. No. And I wasn't trying to even go there with that. Flesh. Why are the Chinese medicine so into flesh swords?
I don't. Yeah, I know a lot of times it has to do with flaccidness in older men, but I don't know in this case if that's what it is.
Flesh. The flesh sword market is
yes.
I mean, here in Denton, we've got a barrel of swords on the square for sale. But
you go to China, different kind of barrel. There's formaldehyde in that barrel. What? I don't know.
Do they grind it? Do they snort it?
Is there proof?
You snort donkey dick?
My question, I guess, is like, has any? Not that this is the end all be all verifier, but like, is there somebody done any kind of scientific based evidence about dicks and horns making you more horny?
Oh yeah, rhino horn. Yeah, that's supposed to.
Well, rhino horn works
more virile.
It does.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
That's why there's not any of them left.
Well,
it was so effective, and so they've been having to use the lesser quality donkey dick.
Well, if rhino horns are give you such a big hard on, why aren't rhinoceroses fucking and sucking more?
That's a good question. There isn't. I want you to have a shirt that says "horny for rhino horn." But I don't know why they don't. They put fires out.
Rhinos?
They stomp on fires. I think that's a real thing, and that might just be in a movie. I don't know.
Yeah, what do you think about the Wakanda Black Panther movie? That guy rode around on a rhino.
He did. Was that?
He was like the bad. He was a bad tribe, but then he turned out he was a good tribe.
Came around at the end.
Yeah.
So I haven't found anything on donkey penis, but I imagine it's similar to deer penis. And there's a deer penis entry on Wikipedia.
Big different.
Says
big different. It tastes completely different.
It says it's consumed by pregnant women to make the mother and child stronger, and that it's sometimes ingested as deer penis wine.
Oh,
as a remedy for athletic injuries. So I will say this: I found an article, and they say of donkey penis being served at a Chinese restaurant, and they say, basically that it brings men energy, has nutrients that bring men energy. If you know what I mean.
Get some horny honey.
Horny honey, yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously.
We know horny honey. I mean, scientists has definitely figured out that horny honey works.
Right.
Well, it's because it has Viagra in it.
Well, I would like to report to the listener that rhinos do not, in fact, stomp out fires. I was incorrect.
Well, let me ask you this, though.
Which is probably why people kill so many of them.
Let me ask you this. Would the rhino stomp out the fire if the fire was created in the area that it lives, and the fire was created by one of the Ninja Turtles?
This is. I feel like we talked about Bebop. Now it's time to.
Yeah,
we talked about Bebop last week.
Rocksteady would definitely have issues with a fire being set up around the lab, around the around the base. I mean, because the thing is, both Bebop and Rocksteady have significant vinyl collections of punk rock music and new wave music, despite their names being related to reggae terms.
Right.
But they have some of those records probably too. I'm just saying that I do feel like rhinos, that's a rhino that would stomp out a fire, especially if it's around some of his crazy tunes.
It's the exception that proves the rule, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's one of the great ministries. Were they in the Foot Clan?
I don't know that they were in the clan, but they definitely worked. They're kind of like mercenaries, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they were mercenaries that worked for Shredder.
So like how Destro wasn't in Cobra, but he was the enemy because he worked for Cobra.
Yeah, he worked for Cobra. He was a mercenary, but he didn't have to he didn't have to take drug tests and stuff like the rest of the Cobra soldiers.
Yeah.
Right. Independent contractor.
Yeah, he's an independent contractor.
Right.
Yeah.
So is the jury out on donkey penises?
I just want to find out if there's any truth to this, because I think Western medicine likes to make Eastern medicine seem like it's just some old myth or some old wives' tale of just some crazy made up thing I just want to know, some of this has to work, but some of it sounds like it doesn't work. It would be weird to me that eating donkey dicks makes you more horny.
Let's look at it this way. Let me throw out a theory, right? Let's say next week I find a study on whether donkey penises make you horny or not, and I read it to you guys. How are you going to respond to that story?
Well, as long as you read it and you go, "Do I make you horny, baby?" Bee Caves Road. That's where they make horny honey.
I'm so glad.
Just for the listener that might have forgot, that's my famous character, Austin, Texas Powers.
Legally distinguishable from Austin Powers.
Yes.
Really. And if you don't know, Bee Caves is a road and city right next to Austin.
But yeah, so I think if somebody did that study and tried to get a grant, even under the very narrow or the very broad circumstances where we've seen people get grants, they would just get laughed out of the room.
Why? No,
there are better things you can study than donkey penis.
That's insane that they would get laughed out of the room, because it would be hey, we want to. I think this is, of all the stupid grants we've heard, this is the first smart one. And I'm gonna figure out how to get. I want to figure out how to get money for this. The only issue is I would never actually go through and testing anything, but.
How would you procure the donkey penises?
Fucking take a knife.
Go to
Just take a knife.
Nigeria. They're all over the place.
I'll take a knife and I'll go. I don't know, where do donkeys live?
Dominic's Donkey Ranch.
I'll go to Washington D.C. It's a bunch of jackasses live there. But I don't know. No, but sincerely, like,
Okay.
somebody if a grant should be given to somebody who's like, hey, we are going to study these age-old Chinese medicine treatments that are not used here, that are laughed off, and see they're continuing to be used over there. Let's see if some of these have valid contributions, and then if they do, figure out why, because maybe there is a weird thing that could help people with some disease that comes from, ground up insects or something weird, like, I don't know, rhinoceros horns or something like that, which that doesn't mean you want to kill more rhinoceros. But if rhino horn does help something, well, let's figure out a way how to make it synthetically.
Right.
Okay.
Because Rocksteady, I can't live in a world where Rocksteady isn't around.
It does seem like it would have value as a study that, yes, our hypothesis is that eating these animals will do nothing, will have no effect, at least no effect that is in line with what people believe. And if you're right, the benefit is you can now confront people with the actual study that shows, hey, quit eating donkey dicks.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not doing you any good.
It doesn't even get you horny, baby.
I mean, you say that. I think that, there are several animals that have been hunted virtually to extinction because
not
of
donkeys.
We got to save the donkey.
But I mean, that hasn't had any impact on its demand. So I don't think going like, hey, we have scientific proof this doesn't work. I don't think anybody's going to see that who wants donkey dick and go, oh, well, it doesn't work. I'll go.
I bet it
else.
would.
I'll go to rhino horn.
I bet it would. It wouldn't maybe be, it would take generations and it would take time. It wouldn't immediately stop it for sure. But I think it would help over time. Like things, like seatbelts and shit. People are like, you got to wear seatbelts or you're going to die. And of course, a lot of people are like, fuck that. But now everybody just puts on a seatbelt.
What if it just saves one donkey dick?
Yeah, what if it saves one donkey's big old Johnson? One big old flappy tendril of meat.
So our next story comes to us from Sora News 24.
What?
Which is a Japanese news blog.
Oh, J.R. West's.
We did get our
station.
J.R. West story, I believe, from Sora News 24.
Yes.
And our wet chip story.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Gross. And that they serve at 7-Eleven, which, as Mike told me, is very nice in Japan.
Yeah. I want to visit
They're
Japan
they're nice.
I want to visit Japan one day just to go to the 7-Elevens.
I'd do it.
Well, there's other things there.
Name one.
Kabuki Theater. They still do that, right?
Disneyland.
Yeah.
Is there a Disneyland in Japan?
Yeah,
There's a
Disneyland.
Miyazaki version of Disneyland, and there's Miyazaki movies that you can only see at that place.
You could probably fly to Japan and go to that theme park and do everything there and fly back to the States for cheaper than it would cost you to fly to Florida and go to Disney World and fly back.
You might be right.
I'm calling it. Get your shit together, Walt Disney.
Yeah. You capitalist stooge.
He's dead. He's been dead a long time.
Oh, you're
He's
buying
not.
that shit?
Come on, don't believe that. We know that's not true.
Amenities when you're traveling can vary.
Manatees?
Amenities.
I thought we were talking about donkeys.
Do they eat manatee dicks?
Are they eating manatee dicks?
That's a huge problem.
Now, I bet those are harder to get because they're all, shriveled up because of the cold water.
Yeah, that's probably why. So amenities when you're traveling can vary widely. But a hotel called the Villa and Barrel Lounge in Shizuoka, Japan, just found a way to put other hotels to shame. The hotel was created by one of Japan's most popular craft brewing operations, and each of its rooms features a tap that offers 10 liters of beer per night for free. The beer itself is brewed especially for the hotel rooms and is not available anywhere else. The rooms are fairly economical at around $215 a night. And if you can't drink all 10 liters of beer, which comes out to about 28 cans, then you can take it home, but you have to bring your own growler.
If you just felt like getting shit tanked, that'd be a deal.
Yeah.
That's a lot of beer.
You wouldn't even have to go out, see the town. You could just stay in and drink all the beer you wanted.
Who'd want to? Apparently, it's just 7-Elevens and theme parks. According to you.
Yeah. How has anybody taken this deal up though?
It's new. Yes. I tried to. I just looked to book a room, and every room was booked for the next like 2.5 months.
Huh.
What about 3 months?
Well, about 2.5 months out, I started seeing weekdays available. That's why I got the $215 number.
That's cheaper than the Orlando Days Inn.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's cheaper than hotels most places.
Yeah.
I was impressed by the price.
Yeah.
I think our trip to go to the theme park in Japan is really starting to come together.
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. Is it 10 liters per guest or 10 liters per room?
Per room.
Do they have adjoining rooms? Could we get 3 connecting rooms and open all the doors?
You can get multiple rooms. I don't know if they adjoin or not, but it would let me book on their website. It would let me book up to 8 rooms at a time. But I couldn't find when 8 rooms are available. It was months from now.
That's 80 liters.
There's so much math here. This seems like a fun thing that they would do. There's a lot of there's a lot of delightful, fun customs and promotions and events and things to do. It's really it's great over there. I've only been over there once. I was there for a little over a week, and it was one of the coolest places I've ever been.
Nice. What cities were you in?
I was in Tokyo and Osaka and Hiroshima and a couple others that I forget.
Those are all cities you destroy in Rampage, as I recall.
Well, yeah, and I definitely apologize.
It's a 1980s video game.
I apologize to people over that.
You just constantly say.
Constantly. I'm sorry for the gorilla that I played.
You weren't prepared for the gorilla.
Yeah.
You probably would have been ready for the lizard. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the lizard was my choice actually.
Who? The wolf?
The lizard in Rampage.
Lizard?
I always
a lizard and a ape. Did you see the Rampage movie starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
I did not.
No,
was it as good as the game?
Oh, it's a movie.
So, Mike, I believe you have a road story for us.
I do?
Oh, a story from the road.
Well, I am on the road. I'm in our time. I'm starting a tour right now, and I've been up and down these dusty highways we call the good old U.S. of A. I've seen things that will turn you white as a sheet, and I've loved loves that will make you horny as a donkey. So being horny, taking rhino horn on the road. This one time I was in the Europe, and I was at a club there in Germany, and there's like a weird thing in Europe, like because the band's pretty punk rock or whatever, and there's a weird thing in Germany that the second you stop playing music, no matter what the genre, like a disco ball comes down, and they immediately start playing the most obnoxious techno music you've ever heard. And all the people that, in our case, all the punk rockers with all the silly haircuts and stuff immediately start disco dancing. Like it doesn't faze them for a second, and they absolutely love it. And this one time we're playing that show in Germany, and like clockwork, the disco ball comes down, and I'm getting off and loading off some stage and stuff like that, loading off the gear and stuff and putting it in the sprinter, and all of a sudden this German guy's in my face, and he has a big old like hog leg of a what I thought was a joint or something, big old cigarette, hand rolled cigarette, and he says, "You smoke?" He said the words "you smoke," but because he was German, I couldn't tell if it was a question or an order. And I was like, okay. I took a hit, and I shouldn't have, because you know why? You should never blindly follow a German's orders. And so I got real high, and it was crazy, like. But I don't know what was in it. Like it was something I've never, because it was a weird high that I've never experienced before, really, and it was nuts. And I'm kind of walking back and forth, and there was this really pretty German girl that I'd made eyes with a couple times, but I usually don't get to talk to anyone. And she just like grabs me, like I hadn't even talked to her. She grabs me, and she pulled me out onto the dance floor, and like the lights are all shifting and changing and moving around, and the bass is just like, oh god, just the bass is like pumping so goddamn hard. It's just like hitting you in the chest. And I'm like, the drugs are kicking in, and she is just like writhing on me, just fully like body, like all over me, like hands up my shirt and stuff like that, and touching my nips, my bare nips. And I suddenly I understood why people like that kind of music. I've always hated this music, and now I understand why people like it. And then they started playing a mashup of Dolly Parton, but to techno music. And it was like, Jolene, 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 Jolene. And I was like, why are they doing this? But it was like the lights were it was insane. And like, it was a perfect storm. It was an exact perfect storm. And a storm that would never come together of like these kind of drugs, these kind of lights, that kind of bass that's like hurting your chest, being on tour for months and months and being lonely, and a beautiful German girl.
Very aggressive. Yeah, beautiful German girl.
I like in that perfect storm, I had an autonomic response, which is like, that's like when you scratch a dog and its leg shakes. And in this situation, my autonomic response was that I came in my pants. And it was awesome.
Did she know? Did you have a moment? Or did you have a moment where you had a lapse?
No.
Or did you just fake it?
Then she goes, I was like, ee! And so then like we go and, we go like to the, so I was like, that was a good song. Let's go get a drink. And, but I'm like, I'm just like I'm feeling insane and from drugs, and she's like talking to me, and we get a drink, and she's talking to me, and she's telling me about how much she loves her kids, and how she'd do anything for her kids. And I was like, well, you did something for me tonight. And so I'm standing there in my cum pants, and they're like, it's starting to cool down, you know? And you can feel I can feel the warmth start to leave.
Oh no. And
I'm like, I gotta get out of here. And I was like, well, I gotta get going. And she was like, kiss me. And I'm like, okay. And you don't really want that. I think she wanted me to go home with her, but I was just like, no, that ship is done sailed and sunk. And yeah, so like I ran off, and I think I might have even, I think with the hotel we were staying at was far away. So I went to the bathroom and I took off my boxer shorts and kind of cleaned myself up, and just threw the boxer shorts away and spent the rest of the night underwearless.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a surprising turn of events.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he must have thrown up on the dance. I was expecting vomiting on the dance floor.
But I threw up, but not from my mouth. Something else threw up.
Yep.
Wow.
That's the old missing donkey part. Threw up.
That's right. Maybe you were smoking crystallized donkey dick. Who knows?
Hey,
maybe that's what.
And can I say too, like I'm not like, I've never professed to be the biggest stud in the universe. That title is clearly goes to Chuck Norris or Michael Dudikoff.
Oh yes,
but I do fine. Like I will say, like, and I'm not, I don't think I would tell that story if that was a problem for me.
Right.
Like if that was a thing that has happened or happens all the time, I would be very ashamed and embarrassed. And admittedly, I was ashamed and embarrassed at that time, and thought, I hope this isn't a thing that happens all the time, because this was a really long time ago. Yeah, it has to be, the drugs certainly played a part in that.
Right.
And that's not to say also being much, much younger, very horny German girl writhing on me.
Falco blaring in the background.
And then the drugs. But the drug part I mean, maybe there was fucking ground up donkey dick in there. Is what I'm saying. And I never thought of that till now. It never occurred to me until right now.
I can't believe you hadn't thought about it until tonight.
Well, I've never discussed donkey dicks and their powers until right now.
Okay.
I desperately hope that there's someone in Germany that is hearing this and I know exactly what he smoked. Like it's a thing that they can say like, oh yeah, it's guaranteed to make you come in your pants. We know this.
German listeners, let us know what Mike smoked.
They call it Panther Schnitzel.
Panther Schnitzel. Maybe it's a gummy bear byproduct.
I had eaten a lot of Haribo gummy bears too. So I said, I was in Germany.
So that wraps up another week of the International News Service. Find us across social media at International News Pod. Email us at internationalnewspod@gmail.com. Please remember that each episode of INS is like having 28 cans of beer with you at all times, and it doesn't leave you hungover. Check out the INS merch store at Redbubble and our Patreon. We'll see you next week.
You smoke?
Thank you for listening to the International News Service. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. INS, the news you need.